how do you demonstrate, leadership with your clients?
A lot of times, that's a really good question, actually. I've never been asked that. How do I demonstrate leadership with my clients?
Welcome to Success Superstars, your place for inspiration, motivation, and the blueprint for success for peak performers just like you. Episode number 130, and my special guest, Greg Cunningham.
Good morning. How are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on 10 years of marriage. You just celebrated in Cabo, I believe, right?
Yes, sir. I did. We had a good time. It was nice to get away for a bit.
Yeah, 10 years is a big milestone.
Big time. Yeah. So we're still here.
Yeah, there you go. Success in marriage and success in business. That's great. So I thought maybe today, this is your second appearance on the show, and your success is so great that I'd like to share with the audience a little bit about mindset, leadership, and maybe how you track and measure your numbers. But the foundation seems to me everything's about mindset. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. How do you? Did having a growth mindset always come easy to you?
No, not at all. In fact, I wish there was more coaching on this. It was just something I had to figure out on my own, and it took a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And I just realized that as long as you remain positive in business, everything comes together. As long as you can just remind yourself you are much better than that, you know how to get this done, everything comes together.
So that wasn't easy for you. You had to learn it the hard way. Like I'm sure you got knocked down and you probably took it personally. Mm-hmm. How did you learn to get back up?
Mark, I just had to remind myself, it's like, I know that I'm good enough. I know how to generate leads. I know how to get the business. I know how to knock this out of the park, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. So when I do get knocked down, a lot of times, even now, I still take it personally and I know that I shouldn't. So what I had to learn how to do, which is very hard, and I wish I could teach it somehow, was just, I can't dwell on it.
Right.
I've got to take it, learn from it, and just keep going and just somehow put it to the side and forget about it.
Well, the key thing you mentioned is learn from it. Did you develop a process of, okay, what can I learn from this situation? What is this situation trying to help me learn?
Yeah, I think I am my toughest critic,
mm-hmm.
if I'm saying that correctly.
Right.
I just had to say, okay, rather than taking it personally, it's just like anything else in life. What went wrong? How can we fix it? How can we prevent it from happening again?
Right.
And then take that, think about it in a positive light, and then move on to the next deal.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I'm really impressed with you and your leadership and your business style is you really track and measure your numbers.
I do.
Now, were you coached into that? Did that naturally happen for you? How did you develop that discipline?
I was coached into it. I never was able to track my numbers, but when I got into coaching with the core training, I watched how they're tracking their numbers, and when it comes to the amount of phone calls it takes, or where the leads are coming from, where the business is coming from, you track every single pillar of business,
right?
Where it comes from, and then you go after those, and then you can take those and multiply it. Yeah, it works. I was like, wow, why wasn't I doing this any sooner?
So, but you, in a sense, had to have that kind of beat into you by your coach.
Yeah.
What was the resistance and what was the trigger that got you to say, okay, I'm actually going to do this?
Because if they can do it and they're that successful and it works, then I can do it.
Got it. So you saw, here are these people that are modeling the behavior. They're seeing success. I want to have that success, so I'm just going to follow.
That's it. I just had to surrender to the process and say, look, I hired these coaches to get me to where I want to be. And if these coaches are active, practicing realtors and brokers and lenders, then if they can do it, I can do it. So I'm going to surrender to the process and do exactly what you told me to do, and it worked.
So I love what you said, because you said surrender to the process. And was that hard? So much of us want to do, I'm going to do it Greg's way. I'm going to do it Mark's way. And to surrender to that process, was that tough?
It was very hard. Great question. It was very hard because I see a lot of agents, including myself, in the beginning of our careers, and we have this mindset of this is how real estate works. But that's not true. And I think that's why most agents still struggle today, because they have a perception of what what reality is with real estate, but it's not true. Right. It's very different. So when they got me in, I was like, well, this does not make sense whatsoever. But if it works for you, then it can work for me. So that's when I just had to like, all right, I'm going to do it your way and not my way, and it worked.
So now you're a fan.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads into personal leadership and business leadership, which with your military service, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for yours.
You're welcome. Leadership, comes naturally with you. How do you demonstrate, leadership with your clients?
A lot of times, that's a really good question. Actually, I've never been asked that. How do I demonstrate leadership with my clients? I just have to get on their level. I've got to, sometimes I got to take my real estate hat off, and I tell them I'm taking my real estate hat off right now, and I want you to understand why we're going this route and how I'm going to help you get there. One good thing is I always reference the first time I bought a house, the only time I ever bought a house. And I was like, I've been there. I've done it. I know the pressure you're feeling. I know the anxiety you have. It's a massive financial investment, so I get it. But I want you to follow me down this road because I promise you it will work out. Yeah. And I sometimes I really just have to almost become more of like a friend than a professional. Yeah. And they appreciate that more.
Yeah. You develop trust. In the episode we did last week, we were talking about trust, and in the lack of trust, there's only fear, right? And so when you develop trust with your clients, everything happens. I think it all
starts there. There's so much technology involved in real estate today, and it's good, and you can leverage that for many different things. But when it comes to a client who's making a huge financial investment, it all starts with trust. We don't even talk about the transaction. We talk about each other and what do you do for a living, and sometimes that conversation can go on for hours. But it all starts with trust, and I need you to lower your guard and trust me to lead you down this road. And
right.
That's how we're able to convert almost 100% of our leads.
It's interesting. You mentioned trust, Greg. I was looking at some numbers the other day that the industry, I forget the exact number, has spent $10 billion in technology over the last 5 years, and productivity has not changed. Productivity hasn't changed, and all of the technology we've spent, the productivity numbers are exactly the same.
I believe it.
Yeah. So
I believe it.
It's telling about what the power of the relationship.
Yeah. I see so much technology these days with every moving part of real estate, and there's technology for anything. And I'm like, that's great, but I really haven't leveraged much of it, just because all I need is this and somebody to talk to.
Right.
And I'm good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, as we wrap up this episode, what would you like the audience to hear in terms of building a successful business, building a successful career, during this time of COVID?
Honestly, Mark, since January 1st, I've been in the office every single day. You may not want to hear that because you told us not to be in the office, but
not just in groups. You can be in the office, not in large, large groups.
I was scared in the beginning, but I realized, I was like, there are still people that need to move.
Right.
So I called some people, and I was like, I need gloves, masks, shoe covers, whatever. Throw them in the car, sanitizer. Make your clients feel comfortable. Drive on. Keep going. I have not done one Zoom call in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I still meet clients for coffee. I met them in March, April, May.
You adapted.
Yeah, you have to adapt. You got to keep going. But you got to make your clients feel comfortable at the same time.
Right.
And you got to keep going. And regardless of what everybody says about COVID and everything, it's this. I have never seen a market this hot in my 7 years. Maybe in 2015 and 16, but it's blowing up.
Well, it's the lowest mortgage rates we've ever seen. In any, it's practically free money. So that's going to drive quite a bit of need. Well, good. Well, as we wrap up, appreciate your leadership. Congratulations on your recent highlight. You sent that to me the other day.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was featured on the cover of Dallas Homeowner Magazine, but the one I really liked the most was I was featured in Real Producer Magazine, which we all know here, and Jordan Espeseth, confronted me probably about a month ago, and the one thing I like about that magazine is that I'm able to feature not just my business and how I run it, but my lifestyle, the personal side of me, my wife, my beautiful daughter, and I love that because I'm able to give that to my clients and they eat it up.
Right.
So if you ever have the opportunity to get into that publication, do it. Take full advantage and run with it. So, but thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, congratulations. And with that, we'll see you on another episode of Success Superstars.